Okay. Ready? Can you see it? Still going. Okay. Great. Still going. Ready? Are we finally ready? Okay. And let's start by going back in time. It's the early 2000s, and a small startup called Friendster is taking the tech world by storm. They're one of the first companies to create a social networking site where users can share their favorite music, post photos, and send messages to one another. It's something new and exciting at the time. Friendster's team is small, dynamic, and incredibly creative. But as the company grows, things start to change. As the user base gets bigger, the website becomes slow and users complain that they're not able to load photos or play songs like they used to. Additionally, the once open and free-flowing communication among team members becomes more rigid, and their teams start placing blame for the company's problems on one another. Different departments begin to silo, and soon, the innovative spark that made Friendster so successful starts to fade. Fast forward to 2015, and despite being a pioneer in social networking, Friendster shuts down as it's overshadowed by Facebook, Instagram, and other competitors. This story just isn't about the rise and fall of a company. It's about the crucial role that communication plays in the life of an organization. Today we'll explore some key ideas from our chapter on defining organizational communication, where we dive into different approaches to organizational communication and how these approaches can either help an organization thrive or contribute to its downfall. Let's start by discussing the 4 most prevalent definitions of organizational communication today. First is the idea of communication as an information transfer. This is the most straightforward approach and probably the one that you're most used to. It's where communication is seen as the process of sending and receiving information. Think of it like an email or a memo. One person sends a message and another person receives it. It's efficient and effective in many situations, like when an advertising firm needs to get clear instructions from a client. However, this approach can be limiting because it assumes that communication is just about passing information, not about building relationships or even building understanding. Our second definition is communication as transactional process. This perspective sees communication as a two-way street. It's not just about sending and receiving, but about creating shared meaning between people. For example, in a team meeting, everyone's ideas contribute to the conversation, and the outcome is shaped by the group. This approach recognizes that communication is dynamic and ongoing, making it more adaptive to complex situations. Our third definition is communication as strategic control. Here, communication is seen as a tool for influencing others and achieving specific outcomes. It's less about sharing meaning and more about managing impressions and controlling information. For instance, a church might use strategic control to communicate with its members, ensuring that messages are consistent and aligned with the organization's goals. While this can be effective, it can also lead to manipulation if not used ethically. Last, the fourth definition of communication is as a balance of creativity and constraint. This approach recognizes that communication in organizations is a balancing act. On one hand, there's creativity, employees generating new ideas and shaping the organization. On the other hand, there are constraints, rules, procedures, and norms that guide our behavior. A project director at an advertising firm, for example, might encourage their design team to think outside the box, but they also have to ensure that the team stays within the budget and meets deadlines. This approach acknowledges the tensions that exist in organizational life and also the need to navigate around those tensions. These approaches aren't just theoretical, they have real implications for how organizations function. But how do we take the best elements from each of these perspectives and develop a more holistic understanding of communication within organizations? That's where the idea of organizations as dialogues come in. The authors of our text propose that rather than sticking to one rigid model, we should view organizational communication as an ongoing dialogue, a conversation where different perspectives are respected and eventually integrated into the day-to-day operations. The purpose of seeing organizations as always in dialogue with its members is so that it can respond to changes both outside and inside the organization. For this, there are 4 key features of dialogue that we should pay attention to. The first feature is mindful communication. This means being fully present and aware during communication hacks. Instead of going through the motions, we engage with others thoughtfully and intentionally. For example, a manager who listens carefully to an employee's concerns rather than just waiting for their turn to speak is practicing mindful communication. The second feature is equitable transaction. In dialogue, everyone's voice matters. It's about creating a space where each person has an equal opportunity to contribute. This is crucial in environments like nonprofit organizations, where most members are volunteering to work for free, and diverse viewpoints can lead to more innovative solutions to organizational problems. The third feature of dialogue is empathic conversation. This is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It goes beyond just hearing words. It's about connecting on a deeper and emotional level. In a healthcare setting, for example, a nurse who communicates empathically with patients can provide better care by understanding their fears and their needs. The fourth and final feature is real meeting. This occurs when people communicate authentically without pretense or hidden agendas about wanting things to go your way. It's about being genuine and open, which not only fosters trust and collaboration, but it means that new ideas can emerge. A real meeting might happen in a startup environment where team members are encouraged to share their honest thoughts and opinions on how to go forward, or even taking a step back to reassess, leading to more creative and effective problem solving. Overall, no matter the approach your organization takes, this chapter emphasizes the importance of working with integrity and speaking ethically. In any organization, how we communicate isn't just about getting the job done, it's about doing it in a way that respects others and upholds agreed upon standards. Integrity in communication means being honest, transparent, and consistent, all qualities that are crucial for building trust and credibility in any organization. So if we return to the story of Friendster that we began with, their employees were encouraged to express their creativity, and that led to one of the first successful social media sites. However, the increased traffic to the site revealed that the company had growing pains, and they couldn't constrain the focus of the entire organization to address the growing problem. Their downfall serves as a powerful reminder of how critical it is to get organizational communication right. Whether we're talking about a tech startup, a sports team, or any other type of organization, the principles of communication we've discussed today are key to not just surviving, but creating thriving workplaces where new challenges can be addressed. So as you think about these concepts, consider how they apply to your own experiences in organizations, whether it's a job, a club, or even a group project. How can you use communication not just to transfer information, but to build connections, foster creativity, and act with integrity?